I'm so excited to share that this podcast is sponsored by The RealReal, the best place to shop authenticated luxury bags, clothing, watches, and so much more. I'm obsessed with gold bracelets. I just found the most beautiful Fendi bracelet. Now, you can scour The RealReal for new pieces. There are 10,000 new items every day. The RealReal is attainable luxury that upgrades your personal style. With up to 90% off retail, you can finally have the pieces that you've been dreaming of from brands like Gucci, Fendi, and Prada. The RealReal is great for the planet and for your wardrobe. They're finding new homes for over 37 million authenticated luxury items, so they know firsthand the impact that resale has on the planet. And it's the go-to place for your next special piece. Think about all the fun things that you have coming this spring and summer. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. With thousands of new arrivals daily, no one does resale like The RealReal. So now get $25 off your first purchase when you go to therealreal.com/KateCasey. That's therealreal.com/KateCasey to get your $25 off. Start shopping now at therealreal.com/KateCasey. Let's be honest, nothing boosts confidence quite like great hair. But if you're seeing more strands in the shower, your confidence might not be at its highest. That's why you need Hers Hair. Hers Hair treatments are made with doctor-trusted prescription ingredients that many other hair products out there just don't have. They come in a variety of options, including oral and topical solutions, so you can find the one that works for you. Getting started is simple with a quick online hair quiz. Just answer some questions and you will be connected with a provider to discuss your personalized treatment plan. Through Hers, everything is 100% online, so no pharmacy trips, doctor's office visits, or insurance required, and plus, treatments start at just $35 a month. And the best part, you can get thicker, fuller, healthier hair and start seeing regrowth in as little as 3 to 6 months. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/KateCasey. That's FORHERS.com/KateCasey for your personalized hair loss treatment options. forhers.com/KateCasey. Individual results may vary. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. In today's episode, I talk about the Judd Family, Truth Be Told, a superb 4-part Lifetime docuseries which reveals the complex story of 3 women, Naomi, Wynonna, and Ashley Judd. It includes their triumphs and tragedies across several decades. This series is a peek into the inner workings of their famous family, featuring intimate interviews with both sisters and chronicling their relationship not only with each other, but also with their late mother, Naomi, who died in 2022 by suicide. The Judd family rose to fame in the 1980s through the musical duo The Judds, featuring Naomi and Wynonna. Known for their tight harmonies and blend of traditional and modern country sounds, the Judds became one of the most successful acts in country music history, earning multiple Grammy Awards, CMA Awards, and over 20 top 10 hits. Born Diana Ellen Judd, Naomi was raised in a modest household in Kentucky. Her father owned a gas station, and her mother worked as a riverboat cook. And music was an integral part of her childhood, with her parents often playing country and folk tunes at home, fostering her musical talents. Her younger brother, Brian, died from Hodgkin's lymphoma in 1965 at the age of 17. Now, at that time, she was 18 years old and pregnant with her first daughter, Wynonna, who was born Christina Claire Simonella. Naomi often described herself and Wynonna as the Appalachian tapestry, 2 women woven together by hardship, grit, and determination. Their relationship was more like sisters or best friends early on, marked by both intense closeness and frequent conflict. Naomi became fiercely protective, having already suffered profound loss, and that protectiveness sometimes clashed with Wynonna's independence as she grew older. At 17, Naomi discovered she was pregnant following a brief high school romance. Her boyfriend, Charles Jordan, left town upon learning of the pregnancy, denying responsibility. In response, she married Michael Simonella, a classmate, in order to provide a stable environment for her daughter. So Wynonna grew up under the assumption that Michael was her father. And at age 30, while pregnant with her son, she learned the truth that Charles was actually her biological father. And recalled the moment as emotionally overwhelming, stating it made her feel sick to her stomach and as if her spirit had left her body. So she'd also discovered she had a half-brother, And interestingly, her younger sister, Ashley, had known about the different fathers for years, but had not disclosed it to Wynonna. And Ashley later expressed that she believed the secrecy had caused more harm to Wynonna than the truth would have. Naomi admitted that keeping the secret was a mistake and acknowledged the emotional impact it had on both of her daughters. Now, Naomi's second daughter, Ashley Judd, became a successful actress known for roles in films such as Double Jeopardy, Kiss the Girls, and Divergent, as well as for her humanitarian and political activism. In 2017, she was named one of Time Magazine's Persons of the Year as part of the Silence Breakers for her role in speaking out against sexual harassment. In 2017, she publicly accused film producer Harvey Weinstein of sexual harassment. Her accusation was one of the first high-profile allegations against him, which eventually led to a cascade of accusations from other women, including actresses like Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, and Mira Sorvino. The public revelations about his behavior helped spark a wider conversation about sexual harassment and abuse in the entertainment industry and beyond. And as you can imagine, Naomi was proud, considering she was also a sexual assault survivor. Wynonna has also had a very successful solo career. She's known for her powerful vocals and heartfelt songwriting, and remains a respected figure in the music community, celebrated for both her artistic achievements and also her advocacy work. The Judd family has been open about personal and health struggles. Naomi in particular faced significant health challenges throughout her life, particularly concerning mental health, but also liver disease. She experienced severe and treatment-resistant depression, a condition that led to her contemplate suicide. She underwent multiple therapies, including psychiatric treatments and hospitalizations, and was diagnosed with bipolar II disorder. Despite these efforts, she continued to battle depression and tragically passed away, death by suicide, in April of 2022. Her death highlighted the urgent need for mental health awareness and privacy protections. And in the aftermath, her family, particularly her daughter Ashley, has been actively involved in advocating for legislative changes to address these issues. Naomi's Law is a proposed piece of legislation in Tennessee aimed at protecting the privacy of families affected by suicide. Following the tragic death of Naomi, Ashley and the family advocated for this law to prevent the release of sensitive materials related to suicide investigations. I cannot tell you how much this 4-part series moved me. I devoured each episode. Every one of them is so complex. They're so open. I think you will find yourself thinking about this for many days afterwards. And I wanted to forewarn you that there is a lot of discussion about mental health. So if that is a difficult subject for you, I wanted to give you fair warning. In this episode, I interview the director of the series, Alexandra Dean. She has done a masterful job, and I was so thrilled to talk to her. Here's my interview. Alex, first thing I have to say to you is I devoured all 4 of these episodes. You sucked me so deep into this family, and I think the most profound feeling that I had after watching it is how much I love all of these women. I feel like you have made me, after this series, feel like they're members of my own family. They're all so complicated. They're all such unique storytellers in their own way. They're deeply flawed. And I just fell in love with all of them.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. I feel that way about them.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I guess the first question I have is about this, how this project came to be. And was it difficult to get them to open up? Did it take a little bit to get them to open up right away?
Yeah. This is not an easy project. Naomi didn't die that long ago. This happened because a production company, Propagate production company, put it together, and they made a deal with Naomi's estate, then went to Ashley and asked her to be a participant. Ashley said, I'll do it if I can talk to Alex first and we can have a little discussion. So she and I sat down and had a Zoom like this for quite a while before she decided to participate. And then Wynonna took even longer. It was several months, I want to say, before she agreed.
So did Ashley have to talk to Naomi too and say, I think this is something that we should do? Because you get the sense that they're, as much as they're in conflict in certain subjects, that they're really tied together and they respect one another's point of view. So it's almost like you have to have them all kind of sign on and believe in the project in order to begin it.
Yes, that's what happened. I think Ashley talked to Wynonna and sort of said, I think this is the real deal and that we should trust Alex. And I did, thank God.
Well, also because Naomi and Wynonna had participated in something years before, and it really seemed to fracture the relationship. So I can imagine there was concern on Wynonna's part, like, is this going to help or hinder? However, I think in the underlying thing I get from them is that advocacy is a huge part of their life. And if they felt like in telling the story that they're going to help other people in the process.
Yeah, if they felt they could help other people, they were both in. Yeah. But it was really hard to trust because they did feel burned, especially Wynonna.
So there are all the other participants as well. And you get a window into Naomi's childhood with her brother. She's got a childhood friend that participates. All of the other people that were added to the project, how difficult was it to get access to them and for them to open up?
You know, Naomi's brother had never spoken to anybody.
Wow.
Anybody. So that was a really amazing breakthrough when we actually managed to make contact with him. And then when he decided to do the project, I don't think people realize how huge that is that he spoke.
Oh.
And he died recently. So it's his only interview ever.
Wow.
To exist. And when he died, I cut together something out of what we didn't manage to put into the doc for Ashley because she was so close to him. So she could have. But he really gives you a lot of insight, doesn't he, in the doc when you talk about how Naomi was really gaslit by the family about this early abuse she had. And you see him kind of reckon with it himself in the doc, which I think is really interesting.
So I'm one of those moms now who has a daughter that loves to wear her clothes as well. That's why I love to shop at Revolve, because my daughter and I can both find great stuff. Over 1,200 brands and 100,000 styles across high-end, emerging, and exclusive labels in fashion, beauty, and in home goods. You're going to have the most popular brands like Lovers and Friends, Amanda Uprichard, Norma Kamali, A. Goldie, and Michael Costello. Authentic, high-quality products. New arrivals come daily. Inclusive sizing options, personalized product recommendations based on your purchase history. Revolve has it all. I just ordered Mia a beautiful more to come maxi dress and gold sandals for a graduation party in June. And I can't wait to start ordering clothes for all of the fun parties that I'm going to go to. From last minute getaways to party dressing and seasonal upgrades, Revolve has you covered with fast 2-day shipping and easy returns, all of them. And for a limited time, you can shop a curated selection of my favorite styles at revolve.com/KateCasey, and you can receive 15% off your first order with the code KateCasey. That's revolve.com/KateCasey to shop my top picks and get 15% off your first order with code KateCasey. Offer is only valid for a limited time, so don't miss out. Summer's almost here. It is my most favorite time of the year, and there's no better place to go for outdoor furniture than Wayfair. Wayfair's huge selection of outdoor essentials will help make your outdoor space more comfortable, functional, and most importantly, more you. Wayfair has all things outdoor and at unbelievable prices. So don't wait until summer's in full swing. You've got to get your outdoor space ready today so you can enjoy it all season long. I just love the look of white wicker in a backyard, and then to spruce it up with some blue or yellow pillows. Wayfair really has everything that you and I both need. Outdoor dining tables and sets, umbrellas, dining chairs, bar stools, grills, outdoor bars, even tableware. Their huge selection of home items makes it easy to find exactly what's right for you. And I gotta tell you, my favorite part, it is free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff. So no more huge delivery fees for patio furniture. You can get big stuff like patio sets, gazebos, hot tubs, and more shipped free. Shop a huge selection of outdoor furniture online. This summer, get outside with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. This is set, in the American South. And in order to explore these three women, can you talk to me a little bit about the significance of where they were raised and the culture there?
Oh, yeah. This is my favorite part of the doc. I mean, so there's this period in the beginning of Why and Ashley's lives when they're living in Los Angeles. So we kind of know that story. I think people understand that they were in a really bad situation, that their mom and dad split up when they were really, really young. They were poverty stricken. All the bad stuff happens in LA. And then Naomi, when Ashley is still really tiny, flees kind of home to Kentucky, to what Ashley calls the home place. And that's Berea, Kentucky, which is a college town famed for being this arts center and really preserving the roots of Kentucky music and art. And so we got to go there for this doc, and it is magical. It is still that way. Like, I really encourage anyone who's interested at all in Kentucky arts to go to Berea, because you start driving up and you see building-sized quilts hanging out of windows and people playing music outside, and it's just vibrant. And you can see they came out of that place completely in their music.
But there also seems to be a layer of secrecy that existed in Naomi's family of origin. How much did that play into the way that she began to parent?
I think you're gesturing towards the generational trauma, which is something that I learned a lot about making this film. I didn't really understand generational trauma. It was something I had to research. And it's really demonstrated very clearly in the Judd family. What you see is not only Naomi having some generational trauma from her own mother and then passing it on to her daughters, but you see, if you go back, Naomi's own mother was 14 when she had her. And her mother was this kind of wild child who may or may not have murdered Naomi's grandfather. And so you have this chain of abused, traumatized women who are, going ahead and traumatizing their own children because they haven't really worked out the trauma.
And one significant thing about Naomi that I think everyone kind of acknowledges is that she had a tendency to embellish.
Yes.
And that's such a symptom of childhood abuse, that sometimes you create stories to kind of reshape your reality. And it's often stems from deep unmet emotional needs. And I know that Wynonna touches on the unmet emotional needs that her mother experienced as well. Then she gets married at 17, and her mother's reaction is traumatic as well. And it made me wonder about Naomi's underlying issues with Wynonna, because she gets pregnant at 17, and whether they were tied to this struggle with feelings of resentment, not necessarily towards Wynonna, but towards the situation. It's the loss of youth, of opportunities, freedom, support, a constant reminder like she let her mom down. Even though, she loves her child, she's got that. And then it's met with the denial of any responsibility by the birth father. And here she has this child that looks exactly like the birth father. And does that sometimes create trauma, that you are looking at your baby who it looks exactly like the person that walked away from you? Yeah. Did you get a sense in talking to her daughters, that she was resentful that she had to become an adult so early?
I got a sense that it was a struggle for her, a daily struggle to be the adult she knew she needed to be for these girls. And she wasn't living up to it at the beginning at all. She was still trying to work out all of her teenage problems. She was leaving, Ashley's father in this very difficult way. She was trying to find, her ideal love match when the babies are still small and she can't bring in enough money, and she's working all day. And now she's going out at night looking for this guy, who she thinks is going to be her fantasy match. And you think, this doesn't seem like a very mature single mother. This feels like a person who really should still be a teenager and shouldn't have this responsibility because she's not ready for it. And, I think that comes from all the trauma that she experienced. As you said, I think she really, now we might say there was some arrested development. Mm-hmm. We might say that she had some PTSD. She needed a tremendous amount of help she didn't get. But I do like the way you're framing it. I think you're very empathetic with her. And I think she does deserve that. And people can be very, very judgmental of Naomi. But when you compound sexual abuse at the age of 4 or 5 at the hands of a close relative, and then with that being denied as a truth in the family, and then being locked out of her mother's house when she's pregnant at the age of 17 and having to fend for herself with not a dime to her name, all of that is then compounded with her brother's early death. And she goes off the rails mentally, I think, a little bit. And the baby born into that, you got to have some compassion.
Well, I also think for the lay person, they think Wynonna's 30 years old and she finds out that it's not, the man that raised her is not her father. And then again, you compound all of her Naomi's earlier life experiences. And then for the secret to be confronted. Yeah. And for the rest of the world to know it, I would only think that compounded a lot of her existing issues of anxiety, but also would lead into a deeper depression.
It was a recipe for disaster, right? She's 30 years hiding the secret that Wynonna's father wasn't the father she said it wasn't Ashley's father, was this high school hunk that she obviously was really, really into, who wasn't that into her, who walked away when she said she was pregnant. You know, her early rejection. And she's hid this shame over that all these years. And for that, she got a tremendous amount of judgment because it meant Wynonna didn't get a dad, didn't get a chance to find her biological dad and see if that was a relationship she needed. And I think two things there. I think, yeah, it's really shitty that Y didn't get that. And at the same time, I think, God, if you go back to Berea and if you go back to Ashland, Kentucky, which is where Naomi's actually from, you hear from all the people who live in that town that was a very small town. And there was a lot of judgment for something like an out-of-wedlock birth. Mm-hmm. And Naomi had heard her whole life that was something that would tarnish the family name. And she just couldn't do that. It wasn't going to be easy for her to do that and say that she'd done this terrible thing. And so when I was there, I really started to understand and appreciate how hard that secret had been for Naomi to carry. Mm-hmm. And I felt as much empathy for her at that point as I did for Wynonna.
Okay, once the temperatures start rising, I realized I was back to the same worn out rotation. Same tank, same shorts, same everything. So I gave my daily uniform an upgrade with Quince. Their pieces are easy, elevated, and somehow make me feel more put together without even trying. Like 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30. Luxe swimwear, Italian leather platform sandals, and so much more. And the best part, everything with Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than what you'd find at similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen, Quince gives you luxury without the markup. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices in premium fabrics and finishes. Go get yourself the Oxford Relaxed shirt. I got mine in pale blue. You're going to wear it all the time and you're going to love it. Treat your closet to a little summer glow up with Quince. Go to QUINCE.com/KKC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/KateCasey to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/KateCasey. When I put together my bag each day, I need the essentials, my wallet, my keys, and I also need my liquid IV, which is helping me stay hydrated throughout the whole day. You can break the mold and own your own ritual with just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water, which hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration, 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. And I gotta tell you, the best flavors. You have a multitude of flavors, acai berry and lemon lime to pina colada, or you can choose from their line of sugar-free flavors like raspberry lemonade, white peach, and rainbow sherbet. Get ready for a long day with extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code KateCasey at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code KateCasey at liquidiv.com. The idea of a woman in the 60s becoming pregnant at 17 and the options that were available. And she, chose maybe not the best circumstance, or she maybe didn't choose the best way to handle how to cope with that pregnancy and the birth and how to raise the child. But my gosh, how she turned her life around in the way that she and her daughter create this musical future. And we can't forget the fact that they have had a huge influence in the industry in which they were. But what a testament to her own strength that she and her daughter, who's also incredibly strong, would be as successful as they were. When you look back in time at the circumstances in which she was raised and also Wynonna's, their earlier life.
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at the Judds now and they think, oh, this future was ordained. Wynonna had this magical voice. Naomi was great at promoting it. And it was easy peasy. You're right. They were immediately ordained for fame and riches. It wasn't quite like that. Naomi was incredibly driven. They really were penniless when they came back to Kentucky and living off the kindness of strangers in many ways as they tried to find their feet. Naomi wanted to make sure this family made their mark in any way. So you actually see her trying different things. She makes a radio play for them, which I think is so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
She writes it and has the children both speaking and singing in it. And then when that doesn't work, she wants to get on an early morning television show with Wynonna. She takes Wynonna to Nashville and tries to promote her as a solo artist first. People don't realize that. Why didn't make it as a solo artist? She was very, very young. They didn't know how to market her. And Naomi thought, I know how to market her. I'm going to find a way to market her. And she went to the women who had made it from her background, from Kentucky, and she just imprinted on them. She repackaged their story so that it would be something people already knew, but a little twist on it because it was a mother-daughter duo. And she sold them that way. And it wasn't entirely true, but I kind of want to say to people, of course it wasn't entirely true. Packaging isn't entirely true. That's not what marketing is. And she was
That's true.
Right? But because she's a mom, people are like, she's manipulative. Every marketer out there is manipulative.
True.
Naomi was a survivor, and she was figuring out how they could be marketed and survive and get out there. Now, does that make her a great mom? No. I'm even not defending her as a mom. I think she did a terrible job as a mom. But I think she did an amazing job as a marketer. And I think she was kind of a genius. And I don't want to take that away from her.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about her mental health struggles, and of course, hepatitis C, which is a huge thing, a contributing factor to the depression, and just the state of her body going through all of those treatments. It's pretty profound that a woman from the South of her age would have been so open about mental health. And I think maybe she hasn't received the credit that she deserves for opening that conversation. I mean, I think people are far more open about mental health than they were, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Her family, her orbit, the people in her life, did they feel gratitude for the way that she put herself out there?
I don't know if it's gratitude. I think it's there's a certain awe and reverence for the fact that she was able to do that. It was very brave. But that's all mixed up in these feelings of pain around the fact that it didn't really help her. It didn't help her to tell her story. She never found a therapist that helped her process this story in a way that was useful in terms of coming out of her mental illness. So, I mean, that's the really sad thing about this story is Naomi did not get the help she needed, not from telling her story and not from others.
Now, there's this bill that Ashley's put forward, Naomi's bill, and that's significant. Why? Given what happened to Naomi in her last moments, in the aftermath, what happened?
After Naomi killed herself by suicide with a gun, as Ashley has told the world, Ashley found her, had this very extraordinary moment with her mother where she helped her, I think, go through the process of actually dying in an atmosphere of real love and forgiveness and tenderness, which I found extraordinary, which ends the film. But after that, the police came in and really trampled that scene, photographed private elements of the death scene, and allowed those photographs to go and be leaked to the tabloids. And I think that was extraordinarily painful for the Judd family. And Ashley reacted by saying this should not be able to happen. And that's why there's this law out there which would prohibit something like that from happening again.
In the end of this, I mean, this is obviously another layer to it when it goes out into the world and Ashley and Wynonna get a sense of how other people take their story. It felt like it gave Wynonna in particular a lot of opportunity to work through some of the complicated parts of her relationship with her mother. Has she said anything to you about the process of making this series and whether it has helped?
She has not. I don't know how much has helped Wynonna. I hope very much that it has. I have a personal philosophy about these interviews, which deal with trauma. At least I tell myself now that I won't do it unless I think that I can get people over what I call the bridge. And for me, that bridge is they need to go from one place in the trauma to a better place, a place that feels like more solid ground. And so sometimes I say to my crew, there's going to be some of this interview which isn't about airing. It's just about making sure that people get over the bridge. Because otherwise, I don't think I should be doing what I do. It has to be helpful to the person in the chair, ultimately. And so everyone's kind of on board with that now. And if I do it correctly, I know because people don't have nightmares. If I don't do it correctly, the person in the chair has nightmares. And I encourage them to call me and tell me so that privately we can do conversations afterwards that help them get over the bridge.
That's beautiful. Well, I felt like I have a newfound respect for this entire family. And like I said, I've totally fallen in love with them. I think they're such interesting women. And I think it is really going to open a lot of interesting conversations. This was so beautifully done. I hope you get awards for it. I really think you deserve it. And everybody can watch The Judd Family, Truth Be Told on Lifetime. Spectacular work.
Thank you so much, Kate. And I want to add that you can stream it now. I just saw it this morning. It's on Amazon Prime as well. And
oh, good.
This is to stream it if you don't have Lifetime. But yeah, Kate, this is a privilege to talk to you about it. You're so thoughtful. Thank you.
And tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me at Alex Dean Director. I'm on Instagram.
The amazing Kate Casey.
I want to thank my fantastic guest, Alex Dean, and remind you to click subscribe. Please leave a 5-star review. I would love for you to join the Facebook group Reality Life with Kate Casey. I can't wait to hear what you think of this series and just the interesting relationships and the complexities discussed in this series. You can get bonus episodes by going to my Patreon, patreon.com/Kate Casey. I also have a what to watch list every Monday. You can get it by going to katecasey.substack.com. And make sure you follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at KateCaseyCA, TikTok, it's Kate Casey, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at Kate Casey. Check back tomorrow for an all-new episode.
Everyone has that friend who seems kind of perfect. For Patty, that friend was Desiree. Until one day,
I texted her and she was not getting the text. So I went to Instagram. She has no Instagram anymore. And Facebook, no Facebook anymore.
Desiree was gone. And there was one person who knew the answer.
I am a spiritual person, a magical person, a witch.
A gorgeous Brazilian influencer called Cat Torres, but who was hiding a secret. From Wondery, based on my smash hit podcast from Brazil, comes a new series, Don't Cross Cat, about a search that led me to a mystery in a Texas suburb.
I'm calling to check on the two missing Brazilian girls.
Maybe get some undercover crew there.
The family are freaking out. They are lost.
I'm Chico Felitti. You can listen to Don't Cross Cat on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.